Shit. We may be having a technical problem. I don't hear any audio. Hold on a second. Do you hear that?
Yeah, it's good.
Okay. Hi.
You're live.
I'm live. Did you hear the okay. I'm not getting audio, so I have a little problem here. Hi guys, sorry about that little technical snafu at the top here, as you know, to be expected. What's going down? Welcome to another Goon Squad presents Between Two Props. Tonight we're going to be rapping about just tuning. I wanted to lay a couple Emuflight things on you. We're catching up with the guys. Might have a guest pop through. Might have a special little unboxing, which is kind of something I'm excited about. And yeah. Watch some videos and have a good time. So anyways, I just want to start off with the shout outs tonight. BQE Multirotors, Fat Straps, Say Andrea, Motherfucking Bot Grinder, and Wombat FPV. Ready Made RC, the UFDA Crew, Project Zen FPV, FPV Builders, Quad Chat with Jake and Kat, Quad Mods, Emuflight, Kiss, Wolf, Oh Gravy Leg, West Side, Advanced Power Drives, and of course all the Goonies worldwide. Everybody that's here and has been supporting us. I think that's actually something I want to talk about really quick. I'm gonna stop. I can't tell you all how fucking humble I am and we are for the support we're getting and how much this community means to me. And I've just been really blown away with the energy. So I just wanted to stop and say thank you. It means a lot. So with that, I want to take you over to the guys and get this girl rolling. Mad love. Oops.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Come on.
What up?
What up, people?
You're muted, Vince, I think, still.
What's going on, everybody? Thanks for coming out and stopping by. What's been going on, Mr. Chiller?
Shit, bro. As usual, top of the show, I'm still sitting here trying to do all the technical shit. I'm chilling, man. You know, the weather up here is kind of not conducive to flying a lot. So, you know, for me personally, I've been pushing internally, working on how-to videos, doing a lot of promotion, having a lot of great conversations with people, you know, shit like that. Learn things, you know, doing that kind of shit. I got a 3D printer that's driving me fucking bananas right now too. That's been like, I'm waiting on parts. Yeah, man. How about you? What's going down?
Not too much. Been messing around. Got couple different builds going on right now. I've got a 7-inch Project 399 built. Just flashed Emuflight to it last night with you. I'm hoping to get that up in the air. Just had some, same as you, pretty bad weather. It's just super cold and super windy.
Yeah,
I hadn't got a chance to get out to fly much, but other than that, I also have a Flight 1 rig. I'm finally going to get to try out Flight 1. Hadn't done it. It's the one thing I haven't touched. I'm super pumped to get that thing built and see what that does. Shout out to the FPV Geek for sharing the love of that, man.
For coming over last week too. That was dope, man. Joining the conversation.
Super good, dude. Ron's awesome, man. Super good people.
Let me try an audio drop. I just want to see if anything works. Oh, that's my logo. Oh, here.
Not the
well, that one worked.
Oh my god, he just ran in.
All right. I think my audio is good. Sorry about that. It was so appropriate, though. So what's up with the 7-inch, dude?
Not too much. I got it built actually a few months ago and put Betaflight on it because I wanted GPS and wanted a proper long range build. So GPS seemed like the way to do that.
Right.
And I was intrigued by the return to home feature just because I've certainly put a quad somewhere I didn't want to, fail safe or something like that, and would have loved to have some kind of option there. So I wanted to try that out.
That bad boy?
Oh yeah, dude. Look at this thing.
Oh, so we're talking to Vince. What up, Vince? You got your audio back?
Yeah, I'd realized I muted myself in OBS randomly somehow.
Word.
Wonderful.
Try,
Well, what you been
'cause I
doing?
like
Yeah,
to
what
make
have you been
sure
doing?
We got the video going, you know. I've been fucking vicariously living through other people because I can't fly. Because one, I've been sick, or I've been taking care of my my girlfriend's turtle, who's not looking good right now. But that's
I'm sorry to hear that. Condolences, man.
that's turtle.
A
mode.
turtle or a tortoise?
A tortoise.
Is it a tortoise?
But it's cool. It's a little one of those China. You know, we live right next to Chinatown,
Right.
So we get like every year we'll get those little Chinatown turtles.
Is that a thing?
You know,
That's a thing.
yeah.
Chinatown
But, you know,
turtles? Tell me about
we're
these
not
Chinatown
really
turtles.
moving around Chinatown too much with that coronavirus and everything. You know. No.
Oh, word. Is that like prevalent in Chinatown right now?
No. It's just.
I thought that was
a
just in the
joke, 'cause,
country.
I think it's just in Seattle because they're closer to China than New York is. But
saw
I
kind of a
just
weird post from
joking around because I
Skadoosh
literally live in
earlier about-
Chinatown. Like all my neighbors are Chinese, so if I'm gonna get it, I'll be the first one to get it because my immune system is horrible. But yeah, man,
Oh,
I haven't been
word.
flying, man. I just been watching. I know I just saw that Erod got up to 700 subs.
That's fat.
Shout out
we
to
all wanna
E-Rod,
congratulate
dude.
him on
That's
that.
awesome.
Fuck yeah! So congrats to Erod on hitting that 700. But yeah, man, I've
Yeah,
just been watching
he's
a
got
lot
a killer
of YouTube
video he just did
videos.
from Tampa. It's like this killer tower.
Yeah, that
It's-
tower is epic.
I think we might play it on there a little later, but maybe if we get to it. So anyway, we were talking earlier about my 7-inch build, and again, it's Super G,
Oh,
Dead
it looks
Cat,
so good.
Eagle Micro, Pyro Stack, Unify, obviously.
The Pyro F4.
Crossfire. Yeah, Pyro F4 and the
Yeah.
Pyro.
That's a
EXC.
dead cat. Can you show the bottom of the frame so everybody can see the layout? I don't know if you did.
I just love.
I was
those
looking down.
arms.
Yeah.
So that's a dead
Yeah,
cat
it was-
frame. If y'all aren't used to the dead cat designs, it literally looks like the dead cat. those are
Unfortunately.
made to get the props out of you. Yeah.
Well, that's the idea. And when I got it, my original notion was to just try to get cinematic long range, just going straight, not doing much of anything. But
Right.
the flippy floppy in me just won't let me. I want to flip it around, and the yaw is so weird and nasty that I've got to find an X as well.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I can say.
It just has a
I
really
realized.
funny feeling. The authority there is like just so weird. It's like halfway and then it jerks.
That would be
It's really strange.
That would probably be a good use case. Well, I hate to say feed forward, but I would actually, since you just flashed Emu, I would recommend take a look at Emu Boost on yaw. First of all, you want to make sure that obviously your P gain is in a good place, right? And if you feel like
sure.
once you feel like your tune is getting pretty solid, but if you still don't feel like you're getting quite the the authority you want there, the two ways currently that I would see to start tackling that is put a little bit of boost on it or mix in some feed forward. And the cool thing about Emuflight 2.0 is that you actually use both, and you can actually mix between the PID loops. So that's under the hood shit that I know you don't really want to deal with so much right now, but like adding a touch of feed forward or boost is easy.
Good things to keep in mind.
Those types of things are easy, and they're not like really under the hood, but that's something that I think you could look at. And if you would have stayed on Betaflight with that board, I would have, unfortunately, I would have said use feed forward. I try my best to not use feed forward, but
Why is that?
I just feel like we tuned for a very long time without it, right? You know what I mean? And I think that. Well, and being an Emuflight guy, I have Emu Boost, so I have something else that I can use, which is an interesting thing. And Well, I'm just saying, if it's just it's
Yeah,
just, up until
feature that you used to.
up until version 2.0, feed forward was only available on non-feathered PIDs, and since I was running feathered PIDs, my only choice was Emu Boost, quite frankly. And anyways, I'm just gonna mute his screen really quick. Fucking,
How dare you?
fucking. So, anyways, that's why I would say I have stayed away from feed forward. A lot of guys, some guys love it. Some guys swear by feed forward. So I find that a lot of people don't like it. And I feel like that, if your PID loop is tuned properly, you should have good authority. But I can see the want to maybe or the need to maybe be able to have a little boost on it. Once the actual PID loop is tuned right, that you could want a little more that your rate profile isn't giving you, for example.
Yeah,
You know
I
what I
was
mean?
gonna say, I think it has more to do with individual stick
Feel.
adjustments and feel.
Yeah, it has a lot to do with feel.
I definitely think if I was gonna attack it, which when I did on beta flight, I always tune first with nothing.
Yes. Yeah.
With nothing, just because that's the way I know, and for me it makes it so much easier to feel where it's at, because I don't use black box. I don't use anything measuring
Right.
where my tune really is. I'm doing it all by feel.
And I think that's important too. That's a really great point, Artie, because I working with a lot of developers and things. They're like, well, black box. I just a lot of times they're talking about black box this and that and whatever. And I'm like, black box is not the end all be all. Number one, it's going to show you what you've programmed it to show you, technically speaking. So but it can't express feel. Let's be real.
Yeah.
And I think that we tuned, most of us didn't start with black box, bro. We're like trying to figure out how to keep the stupid fucking quad in the air in the beginning, you know what I mean? And then you're starting to learn about tuning.
Still never
Yeah, they're not just gonna jump into black box, and
Yeah,
and
exactly.
so I mean, for that, it's like I think
Yeah, because Betafly makes sense.
in your dreams, fucking, fucking,
No, and I
I mean,
try
how much
to
harder
use
can
it.
Black Box be, right?
Well,
black box isn't
black box
hard
is
once you
great.
start learning it.
but I still think
I'm
that
sure.
being able to do it without it will get you a lot closer, a lot faster, and not have to use that crutch.
probably
You should
good for
use
that
that to get it from 95 to 100%.
Well,
Exactly.
and you don't
It's probably good
even
for that
need
last
black
piece.
box technically to do that if you use a tool like Plasmatree or PID Toolbox. So I mean, for me, I didn't use black box. The only reason I used black box is if I had a problem that wasn't really necessarily tune related and I wanted to see if I could figure it out. Like maybe I had RX noise or some weird shit. Then you can get in deep with black box and take a look at those traces and see what's coming in as an input. But to tune the motherfucker, I would grab a log, chuck it in Plasmatree, and boom, it would graph out my PID responses for me. And it was just way more elegant. It was way easier, because it just shows you.
Know what Plasmatree is.
You don't know what Plasmatree is? Oh my God. Why did we talk about this sooner?
Topic for the night.
Dude, well, I mean, yeah, we fall into an additional topic
I don't know
tonight.
what it is either.
I wouldn't dare try to actually run a graphing program right now, but I do have some graphs that I'm sure I can pull up on my computer. And
Yeah, if you can pull those up and show me what it is and give me an example of something, that'd be cool.
I can.
Like
I'm
this.
sure I
That's
can. I know I backed a lot of shit up, so let me just see if I can find. I might have some
So,
old graphs in here.
basically-
Yeah, I got some old graphs in here.
So Plasmatree takes your log and tells you where it needs to be. Like
I'm
where it
gonna
is
explain if I can
versus-
find a good log. I'm gonna explain it. I'm trying to find a log with a good amount of data right now. I'm looking at some old.
We're getting a request for you to do a Plasmatree tutorial next.
Yeah.
I would be down to do some plasma stuff, and I need to actually brush. And truth be had, I installed PID Toolbox, and I was having issues with it, and I got lazy, and I didn't come back and fix it. But I really need to get my personal copy of PID Toolbox working, and just get a little sharper with that. Truth be had.
Well, I don't even know what PID Toolbox is. So
Ooh, those are
what's
terrible.
PID Toolbox?
It's
Me neither.
once I show you
Me and Artie are like,
once I
what
show
are
you
these?
what Plasmatree does, I can talk a little bit more towards that. If I could just find a decent graph that actually has data. As I did a fuck ton.
Oh, I'm sure. Find where those are now.
Yeah, everyone.
That's how it is with me. I don't know about you guys, but when I do all that stuff, I'll put it in a folder. I'll make it nice and tidy, but then I'll forget.
Yeah,
that folder is.
I have
never look at it again.
Okay, so this is a good example log. I think I can show you guys. It's not perfect by any means, and I should
I'm just looking for a gist.
Okay. So right, all right. So let me start here. Now, this is the noise. This is what we call a noise plot. Okay, and effectively what this is doing is showing you, I need to find my graphs from RPM filtering though. Those are impressive. I did some dope shit with RPM filtering. I'm not gonna lie. It almost looks over filtered. It may actually have been, but it was fucking awesome. It could have been, but I'm not gonna lie, but they're clean. And this is not a bad graph here at all, guys. Unfortunately, this is most likely from a Helio because it doesn't have the debug traces here in the middle. Okay, so what these are is excuse me, the first column here is your post filtering gyro roll, pitch, and yaw noise profiles. Okay, so this yellow along the bottom here, that's your actual getting noisy. Okay, and if you look at top, it talks about the 10 to the 10 to 1 power, right? And then past that, it gets yellow at the top. So when you're seeing yellow, that's heavy noise, right? But going from bottom to top is your frequency in kilohertz. Okay, so as you can see in this graph, I have some ghosting, which this is probably a mid-throttle harmonic or a frame resonance, right? That was coming in. Now, like I said, if I could find my my radix logs, I've got some black boxes there, and what you normally would get on your debug column here is the pre-filtered noise. So you get to see exactly what the gyro is seeing before it applies any filtering whatsoever, okay? Gotcha. I may have a log that has that actually, but I'm going to keep digging. So anyways, what you're looking at here, and it's kind of important, is to see what's like getting through on your D term, for example. These two boxes over here are your D term, what's at the noise that's actually hitting your D term. And that's the fucking noise that actually gives you motor heat. Okay, so if you have a shit pile of D term noise, then you know you need to look at your D term filtering. And all you're doing to generate these graphs is literally chucking your black box into this program and telling it to go, and then you go have a cup of coffee and come back, and it will have these graphs spit out, right? Yeah. And so effectively, that's it. So again, what you guys are seeing here is from left to right is your throttle percentage, okay? Is your throttle percentage against the frequency of noise going from top to bottom. All right. I'm actually going to take this full screen for those guys for a second. So again, throttle percentage from 0 to 100%, right? And then your frequency of noise from 0 to 1,000. Okay, and so as you can see, as you're moving up in throttle, you're generating different frequencies of noise. And this is going to be very useful for checking your filtering topologies or throwing in a notch filter or seeing if you have frame resonance, anything of that nature, right? And so you can look at all three axes. And the nice thing about Helio is you could actually filter each axis individually. So if you had a lot of roll noise, you could filter roll, and a lot of times it would clean up the extra harmonic info on pitch, believe it or not. So you would go after the dirtiest of the three axes, and then you could selectively apply filtering in those areas as needed. So over here, you can see that on my D term, we got a little bit of bass noise way down here, but this is nothing. This is like way down around, maybe like 50 hertz or something. It's really not a big deal. Got a little bit of ghosting. This is not a bad log. This is actually a pretty good example of a pretty solid log. I've definitely had cleaner. down here is actually showing how your throttle and in your TPA is responding, and like how much time you're actually in a TPA state versus non-TPA. So if you have a line, if you have TPA active, like your TPA is at 50% throttle, this is going to show you the kind of data that's actually crossing into and getting affected by TPA. And then on the far right column here, you actually have your it's basically a summary of what you would get in Black Box Explorer when you hit the FFT program to look at each axis, and it gives you that waveform, or what? It's not really a waterfall. These are waterfalls. It's more of just an FFT graph. So that's really what this is. And the blue is the gyro noise that it was seeing, and then there's a dark blue line that's telling you how much is actually being transmitted past filtering. And as you can see here, these are clamped down. There's nothing actually getting past. So the second and probably the most important thing about plasmetry, in my opinion, now in this particular instance, you can tell I have a little bit of noise on pitch. Okay, I have something going on pitch. So what's going on in these graphs? The top row are showing you your set point versus what your PID loops are actually doing. So if you could probably barely see it, but there's little bits of blue. So roll gyro is the blue line, right? The loop input is the PID loop is the orange, and the blue line is what the gyro is actually doing. So what this is telling you is how well you're tracking set point. Okay, so whatever you're putting on the sticks, which is orange, the blue is how the gyro reacts to that. So if you don't see a lot of blue poking around or all over the place, like if you had a lot of blue all over the place, you know your PID loops, your tuning is not right, because you're not tracking set point. You know what I mean? So the more blue you see, the less you're tracking to set point. These spikes are higher rate maneuvers. They're above, generally speaking, they're above 500 degrees per second. So any kind of spike is a good indicator. I did some sort of flip or roll in the log here, and it's tracking. Yeah, so I was on roll, so I did a high rate roll maneuver, and you see just a tiny touch of blue. That means that, yeah, I'm not tracking 100%, but I'm pretty damn close. Okay, and the way you can tell this,
Yaw looks much dirtier.
well, yaw's another story. We'll get down there. I was going to talk about that, but so. This is roll. This whole column here is roll. And again, this is another form of waterfall. This is a waterfall graph here. And what this is showing is your throttle versus the response time. So this being all this low, lighter green color, basically is showing you your latency. So if you have tons of filtering, what you're going to see is a lot of yellow and brighter colors. The brighter colors you see in here, that's more latency. That means that you're overdoing your filtering, and you're actually able to see that really quickly, like, oh shit, I got tons of lag from the way my tune and my filtering is set up. And you can even see it across your throttle range. So when you do a plasmetry, there's actually a little bit of a practice behind that, which I'll explain afterwards. But it basically, you want to try to, when you're capturing, you do want to capture some information throughout the entire throttle range. Okay, and so you can see up here how it's dark. That means there's no data. That means that for whatever reason on this flight that I logged, I didn't get much above 60% throttle. Okay. There are some peaks. So that means I blipped my throttle. These are throttle blips is what you're seeing, but I never really spent any time in the top 40%. This is on the 10-inch. So I might've been in a park and couldn't go that fast. So it makes sense. So anyways, so down here, again, you have, another graph. This is a response graph. Okay. And the orange line is anything that was performed above 500 degrees per second, and the blue line is anything below 500 degrees per second. So as you're doing this process, it's showing you number one, how your loop is performing overall versus your rate profiles. In terms of like how fast or slow you're actually flying, right? And the quickest, I'm trying to summarize this because I don't want to spend all night because this isn't really meant to be a plasma-tree demo. But I think what's important to understand here is that this rise portion, this is P. Okay? This is P. And the faster it goes from 0 to 1, the better. Okay? This here is latency. Okay? So the better tune you have and the better filtering topologies and all of that sort of thing you have, you'll get this tighter. You might, if I were to work on this quad, I might be able to bring it back to about here. You know what I'm saying? Right now it's over here a little bit. I could work my filters back. Okay? But this is P. And the idea is that P should go from 0 to 1 and slightly overshoot and then come back to 1. Okay? Now, this whole run here is I. Okay? And what does I want to do? I wants to be at 1. Okay? This, as you can see in this particular graph at this time, I was a little tiny below I. Okay? So what would I do here in those two cases? Well, if I'm not hitting 1 quickly on P, I want to raise P, right? If I'm not maintaining I, raise it. But so you want to get right. You want both these red and blue lines. You want to make sure you do capture, some jerky. I'm going to show you a little bit after here, but you want to capture some low rate maneuvers and some high rate maneuvers, and you want to try to capture throughout your throttle range. And those are some important notes. But you don't necessarily want to go make a bunch of flippy floppy. Okay, you want to just do some jerky, slower stuff and some jerky, faster stuff. Then lastly, this hump right here, that's D. Okay, so what a really good graph.
Grabbing and resettling it.
Yeah, so what's going to happen is that P is going to raise you up over to 1. It's going to bring you to 1 as quickly as possible, and the more you raise P, the more overshoot you're going to have. Okay, ideally, you want to try to get, in my opinion, you want to get somewhere between 1 and 1.25. How do you do that? Sometimes you got to keep bringing P up to get a decent response. So you get your P up to a certain spot, then obviously what do you normally do? You bring up D. So as you're looking at it, what you're looking at in this graph is that you want this to come up and you want D to bring it back down to 1 in a reasonable amount of time. And you don't want to see any oscillations afterwards. So like you'll actually see, like over here, I got some funky shit going on. You'll actually see it come up and then you'll see it oscillate if one of the terms is too high. And there's a couple different ways to look at that. I don't know if I have enough graphs here with me at the moment, but so basically what you're shooting for is for it to come up to 1, just slightly over, come back down to 1 and ride straight in a nice smooth fashion. And you want your blue and your orange lines to be very close to one another. All this fuzzy shit you're seeing here is noise that's coming through your loop. Okay, so obviously on this particular quad, we want to be looking at what's going on pitch, right? But overall, now I'll caveat that is that if you don't get a good amount of data up here, this will look janky, okay, down here. So it could be I didn't get enough information into this particular axis when I was flying. And that could also be part of the problem with yaw here. Yaw is a bitch. I'm not gonna lie, but the best thing you can do is try to, obviously you want to try to get your line here up to 1 and get it holding, and you're gonna want to play with your P gain a bit, but usually a really nice yaw response is just gonna kind of go and then go up to 1 and roll. That's it. You don't want to even get a peak on yaw. It's really hard. So you just kind of want it to go nice smoothly up to 1 and roll and run across and that's it, because most, I don't even know if Betaflight gives you the option to run D-term on yaw anymore. So all you're doing with yaw is basically worrying about turning up P and getting I straight, getting I to 1, and that's it. That's it. That's really it. Like, that's it in a nutshell. This is P, this is D, that's I. How fast does it go up to 1? Overshoot a little bit. You want to get it to happen as tightly as possible, and then how does it track and stay on 1? That's what you're looking at here. and that's it. And you
So
literally,
then you can adjust from there.
yeah. So what I would do is I'd go out in the field and I'd grab some logs, make sure I dumped them, and I would bring them home at the end of the session. And based on my personal how does it feel tuning, and then I could look and be like, oh wow, okay. Sometimes, dude, I was amazed at times though. To be quite honest, I was amazed at times because, truth be had, I would go out in the field and I would come back in and I would have a nice response based on what I tuned by feel. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
You have it pretty close.
yeah, dude. So I mean, it's a tool. It's another tool in the toolbox. And for me, this particular tool made a lot of sense to me once I understood what I was looking at, and being able to just be like, oh yeah, I got something going on here I need to look at. And a lot of times, like I would be looking at, information after the fact and be like, oh yeah, now this makes sense. You know what I mean? In this instance here, there's definitely some noise on this trace, and for me, it looks like there's too much I term. I'm definitely oscillating potentially on I. But I definitely have too much I term. I'm up above 1 in this particular example.
See those kinds of things are things that would be helpful for me because, sometimes you just run into a weird. I mean, not nearly as much anymore, but it used to be a problem more often. Have a mid throttle or some kind of weird oscillation. You've tried everything, just banging your head trying to figure out what it is. Having a tool like that would certainly help with that. Being a fly KISS though, you need an external log, and I don't have that.
I mean, I would say, truth be had, I would definitely. I mean, I'm all for just getting out there and tuning by feel. I mean, to start off with.
Well, that's what I do, and I start off, analog, just tuning it through that, making sure there's no oscillations, everything feels okay, everything sounds okay. And then from there, I'll go to the HD footage. And a lot of times what I find is I have to bump the D a little more than I want to.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think there is a distinct, like when you get a certain proportion, and it's slightly different between every quad, there's a proportion of P and D that have the most drastic effect on feel, where the response of everything just feels much more instant and less latent.
Right.
And then when you cross that threshold, you just start to really feel it. However, what I found is most of the time I end up having to boost D up a little just to get the shakes out of the video.
Right.
I mean, never too far, but usually that's just what I find. If I just bump up the D a little bit. The good thing I love about KISS is it's so incremental in the adjustments you can make. So if you get it really, really close, you can just baby step it each time until you really dial it in, and then because you can take like tenths or hundredths, I think.
Oh shit!
Adjust it to the 100. So you can really fine tune those.
That's pretty well. I didn't
for HD.
I didn't actually know that, so that's good to know.
Yeah, and that's one of the benefits for me of KISS. It can be a little daunting at first,
right?
Just because you don't know how many, the increments. You don't know what's a good increment to change,
right?
But what you end up finding out is just like everything else. Bump it up 5 or 10 in the beginning until you hit that spot where it's too far, and then back it down 10, and then work from there.
I mean, there was a philosophy that I kind of started with last year, though, and I'm going to actually kind of be kind of contradictory at this moment in saying this, but you're technically speaking, especially from a developer side point of view, you're meant to tune your PID loop for the performance of the loop in comparison to the physics of the quad, okay? And then you're supposed to use things like your rates and feed forward and emu boost and things of that nature to tune feel. All right, so like the idea is to get the quad's reaction of the loop and the gyro against your stick input. The idea is to get that tuned perfectly, and even though it may not feel reading. Sorry,
you okay over there?
I'm looking at you're chatting me, so I'm reading it. Sorry.
Don't read it.
What up, chat? What's up, everybody in the chat? Sorry, I'm not ignoring you. Love you guys. What's going down? But yeah.
When the mad, I have a new nickname for you, by the way, the Mad Piddler. When you start talking pids, you're the Mad Piddler.
The Mad Piddler. So, anyways, like, yeah, the idea being to tune the pid lip to so that the quad is flying is accurate, and then use the fine tweaks of for feel in your rate adjustments and your emu boosts and your feed forwards and things of that nature. And when you're doing a plasma tree tune, it's going to show you more of that, right? And that's why, like as you said, you want to start off your tuning with no feed forward, no emu boost. You want to turn your TPA off. However you do that, you know, and no matter what firmware you're using, you want to shut TPA down. You want to shut off anything that is affecting the loop. You want to turn off I-term rotation, I-term relax, all that sort of shit, and just get a solid fucking PID tune, right? And the reason why I say you want to tune by feel is because for me personally, you know, especially this summer, man, I fucking learned a lot. Like I'm like flying a quad and I'm like, oh yeah, I gotta do this because you're gaining experience and by doing you're learning and it may take you a while, but you will, you know what I mean? You'll start getting it and you'll be like, oh, that's what happens when I have too much P, or that's what happens when I have too much D, or if I have too much I, or you know, whatever the case may be. But once you get there, it's all gonna become so much easier. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you know, I equated to when I was learning to build guitars. One of the things that I had to do as an apprentice was I just had to cut guitar tops. You just cut them to a certain size, you weigh them, and you sand them to a certain thickness. And once you start to understand, it took 200 tops on the 180, sanding and touching and all these things. I could tell you what was light and dense just by scraping my hand across.
Right?
Because after time, you develop the eye or the ear or the hand.
Or the hand, right.
Those little, you know, differences. It's like when you first start flying, like people start talking about props, different motors and all these things. These things don't matter. You don't even know what the difference is, even if you had it. Like, unless it's just incredibly drastic. One 5x4x3 is going to feel pretty much the same.
I've
as
only
any other
recently started noticing.
Yeah, exactly. It wasn't until a year after I was flying that I was like, oh, okay, this is what P does. Oh, yeah.
I think, you know,
I'm starting to get it.
I've had to like conscientiously, like,
well, let's talk.
Try to like, oh, this prop does this. Like, do I like this?
Well,
what am I know? I have to like actively think about what's changing in my flight because I'm just still very new, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
What's in the bag, Mad? We will get to that. I'll show you what's in the bag. I can put the bag on the. I'll put the.
I'm not gonna lie. I really want to see what's in the bag.
I want to see what's in the bag too, man. We'll get there. It's over here. That's the bag. There's the bag. It's got stuff in it. There's a hint. Fucking yeah, I'm sure you love that shit. Yeah, anyways, the fucking let's talk about that really quick though. Let's talk about just what does P do? All right, so actually 3D Racing Man, one of the EMU guys was and I were talking today because we were talking about I-term on macro quads and how I've found that, you know, macros don't tend to need as much I-term. And in too much I-term, you get slow wobbles. Okay, I find that on bigger quads, 7-inch and up, that you will start seeing if you see slow wobbles, you most likely have an I-term issue. Either you're running too much I-term, maybe you have too much anti-gravity. You could possibly have, well, an EMU, you can boost I with TPA or SPA, which I'm going to talk about really quick here in a little bit. But if you're getting slow wobbles, you've got too much I. And generally speaking, if you're flying around and you have slow wobbles, your I-terms are potentially too high. If you have fast wobbles, it's pitch. It's P. It's not, you know what I mean? It's P. It's your P term, right? Generally speaking. So, you know.
Speaking of fast oscillation is always a P.
Fast oscillation is going to be.
You're getting chirping, and then it's D.
Chirping or fluttering, I find to be D. Right? If you get a fluttery sound or a chirping sound, you probably.
Especially if you're on throttle.
Yeah.
really giving it hell.
So when you're looking and you're feeling this out, those are good things to do. And by turning off TPA, for example, you're not affecting this in terms of your throttle. And by chirping your throttle and blipping your throttle or punching out on throttle, and you're seeing fast oscillations, and you know you have too much P, right?
Yeah.
So if you get so that's the thing. And then if you're cruising, you know, at, say, a nice mid throttle, and you got slow oscillations, now you got too much I. Right. And then, you know, like you said, chirping or fucking or fluttering type sound tends to be D term. So hopefully, if nothing else, you guys could take that away tonight, because that's, as far as tuning your PIDs, I think that those three main points are the things you're looking for. You know, you want to, you know, and I've talked about with Vice a few times about how I start off a tune, you know. I wonder if I have a quad that I can actually get.
He's explained it to me, I think, 3 times now, and I think I remember half of it by heart.
That's how it goes.
So I mean,
but I think I can extrapolate the rest of the steps.
So back in the,
because it's very, like, his technique is pretty flawless.
Back in the day, it's Stingies, man. It's really Stinger Swarm. Dropped a video back in the day about a simple way to tune, and it was basically, and I've kind of worked
isolating each axis.
I adapted, you know, but I think the biggest thing for me is taking, especially on a 5-inch quad, I just knock I and D to 0 on pitch and roll, and I'll take my P terms down by at least a third or half, and then I literally just sit and I flick it back and forth, voot, 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 and I bring P up until it starts going voop, 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 voop. Voop, 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 voop. If it starts going voop, 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 you know you got too much fucking P term. So you just bring it up. Is what your idea is to get just a little bit of voop, 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 with no D term, with 0 D term, right? Because there's no arresting your P at that point. So once you start getting it, you're getting it on the brink of oscillation, but not quite there. And at that point, usually what I recommend is you back it off a couple points, and now you start bringing up D. So until you get it to go voot, 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 voot. Then you do pitch, same shit. Voot, 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 voot. You know, start getting it to that point. Maybe back it off a hair and then bring up D. When you get those two axes basically balanced out that way, then just sit and punch the quad up and down. Is it going left to right? Is it going front to back? If it's going left to right, you're bringing up I on roll. If it's going front to back, you're bringing up I on pitch. And boom, get it to the point where it's holding attitude, right? Don't go crazy. Get it to the point where it's holding attitude. And then if you want to change the feel, look at the other tools. Look at your RC smoothing. Look at your feed forwards and your emu boosts and your rates. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, you can definitely, you know, push your I term a little bit or something. But I recommend you at least get a baseline, nice place to start. And then you start looking at other things. And again, like, this is getting into, you know.
Although let me make my recommendation.
Sure, go.
I think before you know what PID tuning is, and I think once you get more experience, you'll have to do less of that. But when you start, I really think that is the best way to learn how it works and how it affects everything, is by starting with P, dropping everything down to 0, and going from there. But once you get better at it and you know what that feeling is when you've got it about right, then I think you can start with a good, solid stock tune, because everybody's got a good, solid stock tune these days. So it seems.
I think that if you
and then what I
don't think
me personally, I start on P and I work my way to D. Then I usually do I last. And then I backtrack depending on what's going on, but that's usually the order of operations for me.
I can't stress enough, like, try to change one thing at a time, and that's it. You know what I mean? You're going to want to change 6 things. Yeah, don't do it.
The options are
available. Don't do it. Like, it's easy to do, but don't do it. Just fucking work on roll first or work on pitch first, and just do that. The idea, guys, is you're looking, and and other, content creators have talked about the P and D ratio, and that's what you're looking for. Is you're looking for a good,
go listen to stuff.
Good P and D ratio. Yeah.
Well-tuned quads, man. There's a distinct sound of a pretty well-tuned
quad.
and it's distinct, and you'll be able to tell when you get there.
Yeah, no doubt. And and you won't feel it. You'll feel it too, man. You're gonna start feeling it too. You're gonna be like, oh shit, okay, it's
You'll just
when I
land things better,
when I
yeah.
push roll and I let go, it stops where I want it to be, and that's what is it responding to you? You know what I mean? Like that's the goal here. You don't want to have to be fighting it.
Well, but also know what it affects, because some of that's going to be rate. I've seen a lot of people make the mistake of thinking they're correcting where it stops and the position of it when it stops,
Hmm.
for being the PID loop not doing the right thing. But when in actuality, it's you need to either
Well,
increase or decrease your rate.
but you got to remember when you move your stick, the quad should start moving. That's tracking set point. You know what I mean? It's like when you're moving your stick, the shit should be
It should be an extension.
it
of
should
your
be
finger.
extension of your fucking finger. And rates, yes, do apply, and that comes more into pressure of stick feel and things like that. But and yes, I think that as you get experience, once you get experience with PID tuning, you're gonna build, like for me, like after banging my head off 10-inch quads for a while, I can throw PIDs at a 10-inch now and have a good starting point. You know what I mean? And then I've done enough of this work to be able to be like, oh, this needs more P, or and even things I thought I knew about PID tuning, I learned different things this summer, especially tuning big quads. Like
Oh yeah, definitely.
it's
Definitely. And also, I had a brain fart. Sorry, guys.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah. I mean, it's awesome. That's fucking awesome. Brain farts are good, So I mean, TPA, I think it starts becoming your friend too, though, at some point, because I have found where when I'm cruising around, I'll get a good tune happening, but yet even then, on higher throttle, I might start seeing a few more I might start seeing problems I wasn't seeing, at lower throttles, and then at that point, that's when you want to start looking at TPA and things of that nature. You can, if most of your maneuvers are good, but then when you do 1,000 degree per second roll, you get a big motor chirp. You could drop TPA on your D term at that point, because it's well, actually not TPA at that point. Let me rephrase that. Sorry. If you're using throttle during this process, you may want to look at your TPA setting, but there's a setting in Emuflight called SPA, which is super dope. And that is called, it's stick position PID attenuation. And basically what it is
segue.
is that it actually reads the stick deflection. And so when you're flying more closer to mid stick, it doesn't have much effect. But when you slam the stick hard left or right or front or back, you can attenuate PIDs for those higher rates. This creates dynamic terms. So at 1,000, when you're flying around at 500, you may not have much effect, but when you're at a full 1,000 degrees per second deflection on your stick, you could boost your D term, for example, in Emuflight. And so normally you're running like 25 on D term, your motors are super cool, flies great. But if you get a little bit of D related bounce back on a super high rate maneuver, this comes in big for macro quads, you can up the SPA in Emuflight, you can boost it to help just give you a little bit of D term boost when you need it, and drop it back down when you don't. And as we know, D term is what cooks your motors and gives you a lot more heat. And Betaflight tackled it with their D min, which I think is an interesting way to tackle it. Some people fucking hate it. SPA is Emu's take on it, but what's interesting about Emu is that you can adjust in TPA, you can adjust all three terms. And in SPA, you can currently, you add SPA to pitch and roll, and you have yaw broken out. But we just broke it out to all three terms in the latest test version. And so we're going to be hopefully releasing this with 3.0 that should be coming soon. You're going to be able to adjust SPA in all three terms individually. So if you don't need extra D term on your rolls, for example, but you do on pitch because you got a stretch X or something, I don't know. And so if you need more D term on, you could just apply SPA to the D term on pitch in that example. It's pretty fucking dope, actually. And it's
cool.
it's an interesting approach to some of these tuning quandaries that some people find themselves in. I think that 5-inch pilots don't see a lot of this necessarily. I mean, again, like you said, when you're trying to get that last 90 or that last 5% out of your tune, that's when your black box is going to come in, and that's where looking at these types of features, if you're really interested in getting that last 5%, this is where a lot of those features are going to come in. SPA especially. TPA, I think everyone should know a little bit about TPA.
Well, see that the way you're talking about using SPA is kind of pretty much how I use TPA and KISS.
Right.
Because you can individually boost individual axes numbers.
Do they give you control over all 3 terms?
They do.
Cool.
But not outside of throttle. It's not TPA.
Right. And so that's but you get P, I, and D.
So you get PI and D. It's just a matter of where it attenuates on where you're at on the throttle that it attenuates.
Which is good, but for me, like some of my maneuvers, I might dump my throttle and only use my roller pitch. So at that point, TPA isn't having a lot of effect. You know what I'm saying?
TPA is not having any effect.
Exactly. It's TPA has no effect below breakpoint.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm actually got a screen cap here really quick. And I want to show you guys really quickly. I have a quad here. I'm going to bring myself up full screen. I have a quad plugged in. Okay, so I just wanted to show you guys really quickly, all you viewers at home. This quad currently, this is your TPA system in Emuflight, okay? You've got TPA-P, TPA-I, and TPA-D, and then you have breakpoint, okay? Excuse me. So in Emuflight, a setting of one turns off TPA on the term. So if I were starting up to tune this quad, I would take all 3 of these and set them to 1. And I would tune my PID loops according to that. Okay. Now, once I had my PID loops pretty straightened out, I would, if I had high throttle, fast wobbles, I would add or lower the P setting, okay? And if I had chirps on fast highs or fast rolls and flips that were D term related, I would lower my D settings. Now, cool trick about the TPA in EMU is that I term could be used to replace anti-gravity. So if you boost I on TPA, it's going to start increasing based on breakpoint. So at 1350, anything past 1350 is going to begin boosting. From 1350 to 2000 will boost up to, I have it set to 1.75, so you're going to get 75% boost from 1350 to 2000. Okay, so at 2000, you have 70% boost on I-term at 100% throttle. All right? That's a sick thing. And then you can leave anti-gravity off. I've always kind of felt anti-gravity was a Band-Aid, personally. So there is that. And I just wanted to show you guys so you can see really quickly.
Yeah, that's cool, man.
I just want to show you this. So this is... Oh, you won't be able to see this, Artie. Sorry. You're going to have to look at the stream. So guys at home, what you're looking at is a TPA chart from Emuflight, and I just want to explain this really quickly. The TPA breakpoint is at 1200. Your TPA-P is at 0.65. Your TPA-D is at 0.5. Your TPA-I is at 1.25. So from 1300 up to 2000 on I, which is red, on I, you end up with 125%. But on P, which is set down to 65, it drops down to 65% P at 100%, and it drops down to 50% D at 100% throttle. So that's basically the way it works, and it starts wherever your breakpoint is. This example shows 1350. Shit. There's no audio on that last slide. So I'm going to go back. The slide I was just showing you showed you 1,500. So anyways, I realized I didn't have audio cap on that slide. Whoops. So anyways, that is that there. And that's basically really quickly the TPA setup on Emu. So the one last thing I was going to show you guys, go back to screen cap here in a second, if this works. So in Emu, SPA is unfortunately at this time, it is in CLI. So what you want to do is you want to go into CLI and get SPA, okay? And as you saw, when I typed get SPA, it showed me a bunch of options. But if you just get SPA, it's going to show you all the options in the dump. And in here, this is where you could adjust your SPA rates. So for example, one thing that we're playing around with in Emu is setting a stock SPA rate where it's a little bit lower. So the more stick you give it, it's going to actually drop your I term just a tiny bit. What I particularly find super useful is setting my SPA rate D on the pitch and roll positive by like 20% for my 10-inch quad. So I boost my D term at high stick maneuver on a high rate profile. And then we have yaw broken out here. And that's really it, guys. It's really, there's not much in here yet. We are going to break out pitch and roll separately. But that is basically a quick run through of that. Come back. Artie?
Super cool, man.
Yeah.
Super cool. Can't wait to mess with that on the 7.
I mean, hopefully, I think that certain things you won't, again, like that's under the hood shit a little bit, but I think that knowing that it's there, I don't think a lot of people know this function even exists in Emu. And so that's why I kind of want to, I'm actually
definitely not.
I'm going to do a self-contained how-to on these functions and just kind of, slowly run through it really quick in like 3 minutes or whatever. But there's not a lot to really cover here. It's just more of making people aware of what this is, where it is, and what you can do with it.
Yeah, sure.
The dynamic D term thing can be mad useful. Or again, though, if you had, like you said, and this is like in the case of a macro for me, that's where I find it to be mad useful because I don't get motor chirp on a macro because the motors don't slow down that fast. So, what I mean? The fucking big ass props don't spin down that quickly, right? But what I do need is more D term at say 1,000 degrees per second. But generally speaking, if I'm at 700, I don't need it. Or if I'm cruising cinematic, I don't need it. It's fine.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like for the most part, my tune is fine. It's only really quick maneuvering that I need a little bit in there,
Yeah, I'm sure. Cause you get such a massive amount of thrust from those motors and props. I could definitely see where you're using a lot more of that versus,
I mean, he's got to balance his props. Like I've never even heard of that. I bet chiller.
They were kind of done with that when I started in the hobby. Like 5-inch, you just didn't really have to at that point. But I heard horror stories.
Pop in my life.
It doesn't sound like a fun game to me.
Shows up to the spot. He shows up to the spot, and I'm looking at his props, and I'm like, "What is all this?
What is all this shit all over your house?"
Grease stuff on the hub. I'm like, "What the hell is this?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, the balance props."
So some of the chat's talking about JESC. Actually, that's actually a good thing to bring up. And if you guys aren't aware, and
everybody's loving
JESC is fire. If you're not hip to JEC, y'all need to fucking peep it out if you're running micros. If you're running brushless whoops, even Project Mockingbird, though, they're running... Project Mockingbird is all about it, too. The new Mobula that just came out... actually, I'm going to do that right now. Quick shout out to Patrick at fucking Project Mockingbird. He's already got a JESC Emuflight thing happening with a diff built that he's working on for the Mobula 6, and it's fucking sick, dude. I put it on my Facebook page.
that guy's amazing.
Dude, yeah, Newbie Drone and fucking the Project Mockingbird guys are great, man. Really excited.
So tell me about this because I don't know what this is.
So JESC was designed to give people RPM filtering on
BLHES.
Right. And so they made it for that, and they charge you, like, if you want to use that feature, it's a telemetry add-on that you buy, and it's like a couple bucks, right? and that's cool. What's up, geek? And
My man.
and so that was cool, right? But then but in this process of them working on it, they created a 48K mode for BL Hell Yes, and they decided to release that for free. So you can, if you flash, when you flash JESC, when you flash, there's a Jazz Maverick version as well, which gives you RPM filtering for free. So there's another thing that's happening, and that's awesome. But a lot of people have jumped on JESC as it stands. I think a lot of the Betaflight camp likes it for the RPM filtering. Well, I think that they're both viable solutions. But
I run Kiss ESCs.
But
no need.
Anyways, the fucking thing. So if you flash JESC, when you flash it, it gives you the option of flashing a 48 kilohertz mode. Now, what's cool about this, Artie, Mr. I Run Kiss ESCs? Well, let me just tell you that everybody's seeing about 30% more flight time. So if you fly a brushless whoop and you're getting 3.5 minutes, people are getting 4.5, 5 minutes of flight time by just flashing JESC. It's something about the code is mad efficient. No, I don't think anybody's honestly quite figured it out yet, but UAV Tech did a fucking shootout where he took BL Hell Yes and he flew it, DVR'd that shit, then he took the same quad, plugged it in, threw Jesk on it, and flew it for 1.5 minutes more. No changes. Zero changes except the firmware on the ESCs. So
that's crazy.
So now,
so what about this Mobula 6? So they're putting on a brushless?
They're putting it. It's amazing, bro. It's fucking amazing. And people we're seeing, like, so I'm part of several BQE testing things, and Vince is actually in one of them with us, and we're building some interesting little some quads. And in the people and I've talked, we're building some quads, and in this quad test, I've of course me being me, I'm like, yo, try this shit, and people are bugging out, bro, and it's like,
that's awesome.
Yeah, they're bugging out. I get the most awesome messages. Like today, I was getting the most awesome messages. Like, dude, I get way more flight time. I have way more power, and this is awesome, and that makes me feel really good. And so Patrick has found, and again, this comes out of personal preference, but Patrick prefers Emuflight and JESC. That combo with the way that, so you're not using the CPU overhead of an RPM filter, but you're getting a very similar filtering experience. You have a very smooth flying quad, and you're getting this crazy flight time. Because let's be real, RPM filtering needs more CPU overhead. It requires more cycle.
Of course it does.
So, and CPU time is power, and it is sucking from your battery.
Yeah,
it's got to come from somewhere. So, Vice fucking dropping that out there. And, Jazz Maverick's cool. I haven't flown Jazz Maverick, so I can't really touch on that personally.
I haven't even heard of Jazz Maverick.
It's a free version of RPM filter.
Is it like Donald Trump with jazz hands?
Fucking, I don't know. I'm gonna leave that one alone. No politics on the show, Artie. Fuck. But
put me in the corner.
Fucking man. So the guys are stoked on it, dude. And that's really sick because I'm pretty passionate about this shit.
Everybody's loving Emuflight. I don't think I've seen a single person being like, you know what, I'm going back to Betaflight. I don't think I've seen a single person
not yet
going back to Betaflight.
I haven't had many.
That's could be pretty annoying.
I want to get a micro here in the next week or two.
I'm gonna have to retune all my quads.
Right.
And I want to. I was thinking about that Mobula 6 just because it's cheap.
Dude, try it. Like, dude,
I want to get it.
Are you in the Mockingbird group?
Kid over here.
No, I'm not in the Mockingbird. I'm not into micros, man.
I put that Mobula 7. I put the Mockingbird tune on my Mobula 7.
Mm-hmm.
That thing flew great until it hit the water, and then it.
I think that.
Took a shit.
Mockingbird is legit. That guy knows his tunes.
Yeah, Patrick.
Especially when the best part is you're getting those pre-made quads. So it's like every quad's going to be 99.9% the same.
Yeah.
So the tune's perfect.
Yeah, Patrick is doing some sick work. He's all about Emu right now. He's been super helpful. He's helped me start a really awesome relationship with the folks at Newbie Drone. I've always loved Newbie Drone. I've always felt they were an awesome company. I've always, I have my love for Alien Whoop. I think the Alien Whoop Zero is one of the best flying machines out there, and silverware and all that is amazing. But if you're not on that, and you're not if you're not competitive whoop racing and you're just trying to have a nice experience, I think Newbie Drone has got a lot of options that are great. And I think that
and I always think they put out really quality products. I mean, when I bought my Whoop originally, I bought their batteries, and I mean, they've been sitting for a long time, but they still move for more than a minute. So that's over a year without use, fully charged, and they still work. But no, I like Newbie Drone, what they're doing, and they definitely seem to be moving everything forward, which is it's the only direction you need to move. Although, like I said, I've just never really been into whoops, just because I didn't really like my whoop. But it was brushed. It was 2 years ago.
Bro, buy a fucking Alien Whoop. I'm not gonna lie. I think as much as I'm gonna praise fucking Newbie Drone right now, and as much as I would say that I have to be honest, okay?
I'm just putting this out
I just
there.
don't want to brush anything.
Well, listen, silverware is.
Newbie Drone does have silverware.
Well, I know, but I know there are some silverware fucking Newbie Drone FCs, but the Alien Whoop Zero is the lick shit. I just think it's one of the best feeling, best flying whoop boards out there, and you don't see a lot of those other things. But if you're not running something like that, Emuflight is definitely that is the most logical choice.
Buddy?
What up, Kevin?
I dream of a
Can't
day
hear
when
you, but
all the Newbie Drone
what up, brother?
quads are being sold with Emuflight. That'd be awesome.
That would be sick. That'd be cool. Well, I'll let you know after I fly this 7-inch.
I think that if you're gonna build or buy, if I were to buy one right now, I would buy the Mobula 6. Just buy a Mobula 6, bro. They fucking RDQ's got them in stock right now, $65. Send it, grab one while they're there. I'm not, I'm just telling you where I know there is one right now for you to buy. You know what I mean? I'm not endorsing any particular shop, but I'm just saying RDQ's got them right now. I saw it today. I've been wanting to buy one. Kevin, you there?
Yeah.
Hi, what's up, bro? Thank you. Thanks for coming.
Hey, quick
Yeah,
fire.
just finished my homework for the night, so that is
Nice.
a plus.
Get that schoolwork out of the way.
So I would say, otherwise, I can tell you that there's some very interesting things coming as far as toothpicks, and I would expect after.
That's what I really want.
I'll give you some insider trading. If you wait till after Chinese New Year, there's something that I've showed you personally that I can't really talk about right now that you should consider. I think it's a very awesome option. And yeah, dude, that would be the jam. And flash Emuflight with Jessica on it and fucking send it, because you're gonna love that shit. I love this shit.
Project Mockingbird.
Yeah, we were just bigging up Patrick, dude.
Yeah, it's super cool. Sounds like he knows what he's doing. I've heard good
Yeah,
things.
have you had a chance to try that already?
No, I have not. I've not messed with micros in the last 2 years, really.
Oh, Vice have they got it in stock, Vice?
No, it's unavailable right now.
Okay.
But it is coming soon, and I prefer my choice. I prefer Pyro Drone.
I'm a big fan of Pyro Drone. I'm not.
Owner's
Again, I
super
don't want to
nice.
endorse certain shops, but
Owner's super nice.
Serge is the fucking man.
I'm endorsing them.
I fucking love Pyro Drone. I need to get a
Well,
Pyro.
I have to throw this out there since we're going to do this. Heli Nation.
Heli Nation is great too, bro. I love Heli Nation.
These guys
Heli Nation's
always
legit,
looking
too.
out for
I
me,
really like Heli Nation as
taking
well.
great care of me.
They have the new
Mike
Tiny
Chin and
Octane,
motherfucking Heli Nation.
Yeah.
Mike Chin is the motherfucking man at Heli Nation. So,
Best customer service, period.
I love Heli Nation. I'm not gonna. You know what though? I gotta give it up to Pyro Drone, because I've been bugging the shit out of Serge for some fucking 2600 packs, bugging him for most of the summer.
Yeah, that was
and
badass.
then I found out that one of the G&B makes a 2600 that a couple of my friends were running. And I'm like, whoa, no shit. So I hit up Serge. I'm like, can you get this pack? You already carry G&B. He's like, fuck yeah. And then like a little while later, he hits me up. He's like, all right, I've already ordered them. They'll be here next week. I already paid the invoice. You're golden. And then he actually sent me a fucking thing where it's like he posted a screenshot of GDP like saying, yeah, we'll get them out before Chinese New Year. And he's like, you're golden, dude. And then, dude, yesterday he PMs me and he's like, yo, bro, those packs are in. And as I go to Pyro Joe and
Oh,
Did we
did we lose Matt?
did we lose him?
I thought that was just me. I thought my internet.
For the show.
Same
You're
thought.
somebody's a computer.
oh shit. Oh no. What the fuck just happened? Oh no. Oh my god. Oh fuck. Yo, I hope y'all got me. I hope I'm coming back. I am reopening Zoom right now. We just had a little fucking glitch.
Emuflight developing.
Are we
going.
still back online?
Yeah,
Are we still on?
Still going.
Yes.
I
I was probably
think
sitting
it's
there going,
going,
oh no, oh no.
Oh, we can see you and they can hear us.
Yeah.
I can't see. I can't see you.
I-
But
I
I'm
just
Okay,
see
okay, hold on, hold
gray
on.
box.
I'm here.
see you on the
We're coming
screen.
back. We have the technology. Just hold on. It's just a little. We had a little fucking snafu there. Situation
Need
normal.
technology.
Whoo, that was quick, bro.
Your neighbors got tired.
Well, something I heard like a USB device restart, dude, and everything started going bump a loop, dump the loop, doop the loop, and I was like, yo,
Yeah, I heard that a couple
Yikes.
times.
oh, that was something. All right, well, whoo, crisis
That was
averted.
something good.
We're back. Yeah, we're back. We're
We're
back.
back.
We're back. All right, cool. So, goddamn, that was weird. That was the first time for
Yeah,
everything.
Artie was controlling it. Dude, Artie was doing great while you were gone. Dude.
Too bad it wasn't
Yeah,
going
they
anywhere.
told us they didn't even need chat at that point. They were like, "You just take it, bud. You got this."
We just weren't going anywhere. But fuck. Wow. Okay. So yeah, dude. Fucking.
So
You were about to
WGDP
blow
affair.
load on Pyro.
Bro, I was totally gonna blow load on Pyro because Serge hooked me up. I fucking went to the website. They didn't have the motherfuckers lit. Like I was like, Serge, they're not. It doesn't. It's like it still says it's not
there.
available. And he goes, wait 30 seconds, and he's just laughing. And I was like, I fucking hit the refresh button, dude. It's like, boom,
Make sure you got first dibs.
bro. I was like,
Yeah, he did. It's good looking out there. I mean,
oh, dude, yeah.
what other industry do you really get that? I mean, I worked with a lot of distributors and retail companies, and rarely are they like, "Hey, give me a PM. Hey, shit's back in stock. Come get it." That's pretty awesome, man.
So yeah, I have to give a lot of love there. Like I said, I give a lot of love to Heli Nation as well, and you know, there's a few other shops out there. Ready Made RC, dude. I love fucking Ready Made RC. One of my favorite shops.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I haven't had
All
any
my
issues with
microprops
them
are
ever.
Ready Made RC.
It's just not one that I've gone to. I guess I bought a bunch of stuff when Pyrodrone kind of just launched their original website. And so I've been on Pyrodrone for a long time, and then Heli Nation came along.
I mean, it's like if you need,
just-
I think like wing stuff. If you need wing stuff, go to Ready Made.
Ready
Dude.
Made,
Yeah,
RC.
dude.
Oh yeah,
You know.
oh for
Yeah.
sure.
They have the
Can't go
Strix
wrong.
F10 too, right?
Yes, yeah. Ready Made has a Strix F10, and they're the only dealer that has a Strix F10 as a stance. Unfortunately, they're sold out because I was trying to buy one today.
I thought I saw another
fucking-
flight controller that had kind of the IMUF setup, the 2 gyro, other than the Strix F10.
Well, there was the Flux, the Mode 2, and
okay, yeah,
and I told
that's what it
Brian,
was.
when Emu started back up, and I would love to see, dude. I mean, That's a history lesson thing right there. Yeah, you know what I mean? So, obviously when Helio went kaput, there were a few vendors that obviously, might have been left in the lurch, so to speak, because they, support for their flight controller product just went out the window. And so when Emu came back, I started trying to get the word back out there, like, yo, if you've got, fluxes or you got F10s, and I have to give mad love to, I'm going full screen for a sec. I have to give mad love to Ready Made for believing in the Emuflight team and bringing the F10 back, because I mean that was a huge thing, right? I mean they
Yeah, sure.
that's a big gamble, dude. Like, to bring out a product for a firmware that, a couple guys are fucking, doing their best. You know what I mean? It's like, just put that out there. No pressure,
Yeah, it's
Cap.
definitely a big
No
ask.
pressure.
They're putting trust into me, and
Yeah.
my coding experience started this last summer. So
Oh, wow.
Well, it says a lot. It says a
That's
lot
awesome.
for what you're accomplishing with that, dude, and whatever you.
Yeah,
you know.
exactly.
That's fucking impressive, man.
I've heard incredible stuff about you, about Emu, so
So that's
you're doing something right.
that's
yeah, you just got to keep trying, and eventually you'll find something that works.
I mean, yeah,
You get there.
yeah.
Greatest thing I ever learned in sales: fake it till you make it.
Well, there is that. I mean, I think everybody does that at some point in their lives and careers, and whatever it is they're doing.
Hey, proof's in the pudding, man. Everybody's loving Emuflight. Like,
Yeah, the whoop stuff seems to be doing real well.
literally nobody's negative thing.
I think that, like,
Yeah, I can't wait to try that on a
convinced me.
Mobula.
I think that Emu shines on. I think Emu really shines on small and big. Like, I think that let's be real, the 5-inch market is fucking saturated to fuck. Okay, and the reality is most developers develop for 5-inch, but if your firmware runs really fucking well on a 5-inch, but can also make your Whoop or some shit fly sick, and can also make your 10-inch fly sick, I think that says something. I think that separates you from everyone else, because the truth be had, there are folks that can't get a good tune with other firmwares on a large quad or a small quad, and that's what tends.
Well, I think it's barrier to that entry, right? So, how complicated is it going to be to get there?
Right.
Do you need a Harvard degree a Harvard degree in engineering to?
God,
to
you would
figure out
hope
how to
not,
make it?
right?
Well,
Yeah.
that's the way I feel with Betaflight. And
I
that's
think-
why I don't lean on it at all unless I absolutely have to. And I'm hoping that from now on, that secondary will be Emuflight for me.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Because
I think
trying
that
to
the
get it where I
presets are
want to
helping out.
is-
The presets,
agree.
Sure.
the
The
presets,
presets, I think those are helping,
yeah.
because I think even if you don't use the preset 100%, you can still look at different presets, see what kind of things other people are doing with their tunes, and get some general idea of some numbers that you'd need to stick in to get your craft to fly well.
Absolutely. Speaking of those presets, 608's got a question. Are there any decent presets on Emu for 2.5-inch?
Some of Skyline
Yeah.
stuff, yeah. I would say some of Skyline stuff's definitely worth checking out. Did 3D Racing Man do a toothpick tune or something? He did a small one too, didn't he?
Yeah, he did what's that one called? It's not the Tiny Hawk, it's the Tiny Hawk Freestyle. There we go. He made a tune for that. That's
Yeah.
a 2.5-inch, I think.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Uh,
I think presets are such a valuable tool, especially for people getting into it, just so it can get you in the general range, right? So
Yeah.
like you can adjust it slightly from there. Same. I probably would not like micros if there was a better formula to get from point A to point B.
So something I shout out,
I mean, I started with this newbie drone.
right?
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I was gonna segue a little bit too. So the team is working on a new UI, and that's good.
Really?
That is in the pipeline. And so and I was really fucking blown away the other day. Somebody called me up and asked if I wanted to be on a podcast, and so I spent my evening the other night recording with Bot Grinder and Wombat. Mad love to you guys for the world's greatest drone pilots, and I was
Would these be the
able to
greatest drone pilots?
the greatest fucking drone pilots. And so that episode in the world. That episode, except maybe Sharpoo, that episode is coming out Friday at 7 p.m. and the link is in the description. So make sure you guys check that out. Friday, 7 p.m. Link is in the description once again. And we did discuss a bit about what's coming in Emu. It was a pretty... Have you listened to that show, Artie? Have you had a chance to listen to that show much?
I hadn't.
Man, I love that show. It's concise. They try to keep it at 15 minutes. So it's like really high pace, not like us where we sit here for 3 hours bullshitting. And fucking, and so like they're really focused, it's really quick, and it's so much fun, dude. I had a fucking blast, dude. It was just
I've listened to a few of them, man. They're really good. Really good. Keep your attention easily. I like their format for it. It's really good.
I've hung out with Doug before. Unfortunately, I haven't had time to spend much time with Wombat, but we hung out before the show and a little bit after, man. And I just, to have that personal time, one-on-one time with people, it was an awesome thing. I don't know, for me, it was really awesome. I feel really blessed that I got that call from Doug, and I was just like,
FPV is friendship, bro.
Bro, just,
Not an understatement.
Bringing people
Not an
together.
understatement.
dude. Yeah, dude.
When I first got into the hobby, I would hear that a lot. I'm like, oh, that's cool, okay,
Yeah.
that's nice. But no,
To be honest with you, not until
legit, like, that is not a joke. It's absolutely true. Like,
Literally, until I went to Rampage, I
I've met
really
so
didn't
many
know what
people.
that meant. But when I went to an event, it was just like everybody came together like we've been knowing each other for 20 years. We've all been seeing, you see all these
incredible.
names and
Absolutely.
recognized all these names from YouTube and Facebook and all that
And I
stuff,
mean,
man.
dude, that's how you and I met. And I mean, look what came of that. And like, there's so many cats from Rampage that I still keep up with on the regular, daily. But I mean, you and I became best friends, and that was a massive blessing in my life. And so,
Same, brother.
that's the things that you just, I don't know, man. You go to the bar and you make drinking friends, but when you go to those FPV events, you make real friends. I think there's a lot.
Absolutely.
It's like,
Well, you have something a real easy kind of common ground here. You can bullshit about gear or 1,000 other things, tuning, whatever. So you get to know somebody.
So what are your thoughts, Kevin, on the GUI? Are you ready to even think about talking about that yet? Outside of it, it is coming, and
we're just.
I love graphical.
Yeah,
UIs. I'm so excited to see this. Oh.
Well, we haven't done a whole lot yet, but just so far, none of us Emuflight devs or, a lot of us, we just haven't really been satisfied with the GUI. Part of it is actually coding the GUI. Just the way it's already been set up and everything. Like, you ask some Betaflight devs about the GUI, they'll tell you like it's their least favorite part or whatever.
That's why it never changes, or it changes.
Yeah, that's why
slightly.
it never changes.
Right.
And so we've actually started contacting some people, and we're starting to work on, making a new GUI that does things a bit differently, that'll just make coding it easier, along with, just making a better user interface.
Now, one thing I'm pushing for, and you guys tell me in the chat, Kevin, we're doing a poll, Kev. We're gonna do a live poll. All right. So one of the ideas, that I would love to see possibly put in is that if we could just literally, like, once you set your quad up, if you could just save that as a preset, not as a diff, not having to go into CLI, just hit a button and have it go save as Chad's fucking Bandolero or whatever you want to do. And that's it. And then if I update the firmware, it would be sick if I could just go apply Chad's Bandolero and my quad would just be
or even just for like a particular flight controller. So let's say you Chad's F10.
Well, you got to know that
so then you're going to wire it up the same every time. You're going to put the same components in the same place 9 times out of 10.
Yeah.
So just to have an all around, like, because like for me, even when I flew Betaflight, if I flew a flight controller, usually I'm buying the same parts over again, like if it's working out well. So just to be able to have something set up for, okay, this is the F10 flight controller, save.
Well, yes.
So every time you put in.
Somebody was talking about flashing the Betaflight back. What we're talking about is setting it up after the fact in Emu and then saving that and being able to post it back in. And I think that would, I mean, like, of course you can go into diff and you can save it to a text file, but I've got like 400 text files on my computer. Like, and then I'm like, where's the goddamn diff I needed? You know, it's like, what the fuck is that? So yeah, just being able to like set up my quads. I would prefer to, you know what, honestly, what it would be sick is if you could just do the craft name. So if you hit save, it would just save whatever you type in the craft name. And that's it. Like, you could just grab that name and it would automatically save it as the craft name that you've assigned to it. And that's a wrap. So I put Chad Emu, you know, or Emu 10-inch Bando or Chad Whoop or whatever the fuck I name the craft. Because for me, everything starts with Mad. So I have like Mad Bandolero, Mad Talon, Mad Band, you know, Mad 10-inch, Mad this or that. All my quads are angry. Fucking, you know, so like, you know, for me, when I go in to type Mad, if I type Mad, like if I go in and set a quad up or reflash it and I do a full chip erase and I go back in and I start typing Mad in the fucking craft name, one of the names will pop up and, oh yeah, there it is. I mean, it would almost be awesome if you could just type in the craft name and hit it and then it was wrap. Like, you know, but then you'd have to remember, I guess, what they are. But that contextual manual shit is it remembers what you've typed before. And so I don't know. There's some things there I'd love to see. I think simplicity in a user interface is clutch. I think that's what will win people over. I think taking all the stuff that you know you don't need on the daily and putting it in the background behind a toggle switch or something and cleaning up the interface so that you basically get like a page or two of the shit you absolutely need to get airborne.
Yeah, to set up and then have a page for the presets.
Yeah.
You know, simplify stuff a lot. Add some wizards and things like that. So that's theoretical talk, and it seems like some people in the chat fucking want to see it happen. I want to see it happen.
So what's happening? What's coming in 3.0 while we have you, Kev?
Shoot, I need to look over some of these commits.
Witchcraft.
Stop putting him so much pressure.
Witchcraft from.
He wanted to do a Q&A.
I mean,
Race flight. Witchcraft.
Yeah, witchcraft from Race Flight. So yeah, added some. I've got contact. Well, I have access to the leaked Race Flight code from 2017 or something. I've gotten permission from Preston Garrison. He says it's fine if I use it. So I don't feel bad about taking any of it, but I added the witchcraft D-term stuff from Race Flight, stuck that into Emu.
Well, that's the stuff.
Nice.
That's the stuff that Kalen made open source back when the big explosion happened, right? RS2K. Yeah. So it was made open source at one point, and then I know Kalen was working on a version later that unfortunately, you know, when everything happened, you know, and it kind of went away. Which a lot of people still ask about. Is there going to be more Race Flight development? And one day I hope Kalen comes back and does that. But I mean. It's nice. It's nice to have the opportunity to keep his legacy alive in those regards. I just say that.
Yep. Let's see. We got that.
Well, explain. What is it doing? What's
it doing? It's kind of just like a running average kind of filter. So just more or less your D term is more averaged on the last few readings that you've got.
Right. So it's making less harsh or less abrupt adjustments. Is that a good way to put it? It's not adjusting as abruptly.
Yeah, and I mean when you're updating your PID loop at these, you know, kind of crazy rates that we do things at, you're not going to notice, you know, much latency from it unless you're running a real high number. But you run about 3 or 4, and it'll just, you know, help average out 3 or 4 samples. And you know, our testers so far have really enjoyed that. So I've enjoyed it as well.
And we also have, I'm going to pull up what did we talk about yesterday? Or was the day before
one thing
yesterday?
I've done, I completely rewrote the angle code.
That, yes.
Yep, so that's something pretty cool. Made it a full PID controller. So it's not just angle strength, but now it's PID.
And it's low PIDs at low angle error and high PIDs at high angle error, right? That's
yeah,
right.
So you've got these 2 PIDs that you can mess with, and I did it this way because that's the way they did it in silverware. I changed it just a little bit, but basically the code's written so that you've got low PIDs and high PIDs, and your low PIDs are for the slower movements, and your high PIDs are for when your angle error gets really high. So if you like bump into a wall or something, and since the high PIDs are a lot lower, you can bump into walls without vacuuming up against it.
That's gonna be dope for you whoop guys,
or
right?
some other stuff like that, which is real nice. Also added some feed forward to the angle code if you want to mess around with that, which just makes it a bit snappier. Oh, I also added expo to the angle.
Nice.
And then our things,
So-
takes a bit of the mixer code is
brushed motors.
oversaturation. Talk about that. Yeah, talk about the motor power.
Yeah, so brushed motors are more powerful in Emuflight now. Because what I did was I spoke to NFE not fast enough, and he talked to me a little bit about brushed motors and how they act differently than regular motors. And basically with normal motors, if your motor gets saturated, if your motor outputs get saturated, so for example, like the difference between your motors is full, like you've got one at 0, one at 100, or one of your motors would be pushed past 100% throttle, or one would be pushed below 100% throttle if it gave more command.
Mm-hmm.
I've basically removed that for brushed motors.
Right.
However, if I was to remove it on brushless motors, because of how quick brushless reacts, you'd notice that.
Right.
And you'd see it as like, you'd give it like full throttle and you'd see it start to dip one way or the other, or you just notice weird things.
Right.
But with how slow, like how relatively slow the brushed motors are, you can get away with that and you don't notice it.
Right.
But it means you've got more power in a lot of your movements and a lot of what you're doing.
And is that what Patrick's working with right now?
Yeah, that's some of the stuff that Patrick has been working on. He's really been enjoying that. It's similar to how Silverware does stuff with brushed motors.
And do we know,
So
is that in the Macula stuff yet, or is that in that build that the Macula tune is?
yeah,
Cool.
yeah. So it's in that 0.2.15 build that he's been posting around.
Yeah. So again, Patrick's got a Macula tune on that you should definitely check out if you're into the Mobula 6. And
Yeah, so that's pretty cool.
Is he using
And that's called Macula?
the Macula? It's a Project Mockingbird Macula 6 tune.
Nice.
Yeah, you got to check it out.
Yeah, when he does it, it's awesome.
Yeah, he gives you a
Macula
diff
7 was awesome.
and a set of instructions of how to set it up. And effectively, what you do is you flash JEC on the quad with the 48K firmware. And literally, when you go into, dude, you're gonna love Jesk, Artie. It's the most simple interface in the world. It's amazing. It's literally like your 4 ESCs.
Good for dumb people.
You can select your firmware. You hit flash all. You know, it's just fucking so easy. And if you have to, there's like a button right there. It's so clean, and it just is like, okay, reverse this motor, reverse that motor, save. Done.
Sweet.
That's it. And so that's all you're doing. So you go into Jesk, you flash it, you reverse motors if you need to, you save it, then you're done. You're out of Jesk. And then you go into Emu and flash that, and you apply his diff, and it's a wrap.
Sweet.
It's a
I'm gonna
wrap.
do it.
You might have to adjust, obviously, if you're using Crossfire versus whatever. But
Yeah, get your rates
yeah,
adjusted.
yeah, tweak your rates. But
Yeah, it'll definitely be getting a nano put on it.
I had a Project Mockingbird tune on one of the old F3 newbie drone, the old B-Brain or whatever, and the old F3 version, and I loved it, dude. It was interesting. Now, is he using NFE racer mode in that too? I think he is.
He sometimes, I think when he races, he just uses the normal angle mode, and that's just what he's used to. But yeah, we've got the
Yeah.
NFE racer mode where it's just angle on roll, not on pitch.
It's stabilized on roll, but not on pitch. So you could set your pitch,
So cool.
and then you have stabilization on roll. But once you set your pitch, you're good. That's it. Send it.
I'm still thinking of tweaking that code a little bit, because right now, if you're in NFE and you do a flip, once you get upside down, the code that realizes what angle you're at kind of freaks out, and it doesn't understand where your roll angle is, and it'll do a weird kind of flip over if you try to flip.
I think that's to be expected. If you could make it not do that, I think that would be amazing. But
you shouldn't be.
But you're not really meant to be doing flippy floppy. I'm
thinking. I just
don't
have
imagine.
Yeah, exactly.
It's called racer mode for a reason.
Yeah.
So like,
I'm still thinking of messing with it a little bit, where once you reach a certain angle, it
right.
Completes it.
changes the way your roll works just a little. I did mess with the Horizon code a little bit. Just did some stuff that NFE put in a Betaflight fork a while ago. Just merged that in. So that's something.
Does Emuflight support F3 boards?
Version 1 had some targets.
Yeah.
It's not something we're going to keep continuing on support for. Unfortunately, unfortunately the FCs are they're moving forward, man. I mean, you got F7s. F3 with all the shit that Kev and the team is packing into these targets, and it's a lot of, there's a lot going on, and I know that there's ways to compile, or there's some versions of Betaflight that have been compiled for F3, but we felt that we were just losing too much. You were losing too much, and it just. Yeah, unfortunately,
Losing too much. What though is the question?
In terms of there were certain features we had to start. You had to start looking to pull features. We would almost have to strip out all the shit. You'd have to lose all your servo code and all that crap you wouldn't normally use. But it's just a lot to maintain, man. We're not a giant. We're not a giant conglomerate of fucking devs. And right now, a couple of the devs have been moving and they're doing other shit. So it's Kevin right now has been doing the lion's share of everything, and the testing team has been helping out, and Nerdcopter has been helping with some things, but Kevin's been doing the lion's share, and so it's just a lot, dude. And we don't want to kill him, right? Sure. So it's part of my job is to be the dad around the place and fucking be all right, let's just focus on this and fucking leave him alone, let him do his thing, and let's just go, But
absolutely,
don't bother him unless it's important.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Is there anything else in 3.0 that you want to mention?
Anything else? There's something I've been working with Bob Ruge with. We're calling it cinematic set point. And basically, it's a piece of code, and this just tweaks how your set point changes. So your set point is, you move your stick a certain amount, and then it applies your rates, and that becomes your set point. Now, this piece of code, as you move your stick, the quicker you move your stick, the slower that it changes your rates. So it's just something to kind of smooth out your movement. So if you do a quick, jerky, abrupt move, it'll slow down the rate.
It'll kind of lag. Yeah, I got
you. The sticks move a bit, but it doesn't. Awesome. Yeah, and so Bob Ruge's tested that out for us a little bit. He enjoyed that. So
that's sick.
Nice.
That's sick. And
awesome.
Do you think
that was the big?
Well, you think that's something we'll see in 3.0?
Trying to do a cinematic flight.
Yeah, that's something that'll be in 3.0. It needs some more testing, because I originally made it, and we did some testing with me and Bob.
Actually, you should give me that build. I'm gonna, because a bunch of us are building some. I have this beta build that we're not really supposed to talk about, but I have this beta build that is I set up a really low rate profile with a good amount of expo for, and that mode would be actually perfect. I need to test it. I've got a JAC build that I literally just put together last week, I think, and yeah,
we're talking about
the beta build. So I have this beta build, and I was, before you came on, Kevin, I was telling I got everybody fucking trying JESC and Emuflight in the group, in this beta team that are testing this.
See that
it's crazy, dude. People are freaking out. It's all Emu all the time, dude. It's it's really sick,
I don't
actually.
think there's a single person who has Betaflight on it. Honestly,
Well, Bot Grinder's in there, and he's just
Yeah, he's not a fan of beta flight.
He's just like, nah, dude. And then like,
Can't blame him. man.
Pissed. He's pissed that the Neutron stack doesn't have the thing for it yet.
yeah,
Well, not
Yeah,
pissed,
weird.
you know, he's just sad that he can't use Emuflight.
unfortunately, that's not on us because Newbie Drone develops their own targets. They actually make
Exactly.
their own targets. So, you know, we have a good relationship with those guys. Patrick's been really a big supporter, and so those targets are being worked on. They're on the task list. And so you're gonna hopefully see I don't want to speak for them, but I know the B-Brain Light is something they're working on, and we're pushing really hard for the Infinity Stack target for the guys flying 5-inch things.
Yeah, I've heard great things
Yeah.
about that stack too.
Dude, that stack, it's like the thickest like PCB yet, supposedly. We're talking about like 8mm or something ridiculous. I'm just like, yes, please. Yes, I want a thick ESC.
I just want something that's robust.
Have you
enough and
seen? Have you
jamming on 6S?
have you seen the fucking that 4-in-1 that APD did?
The APD one, yeah, I've seen.
Yeah, I did.
That thing
looks monstrous.
It looks
I can't wait to see it.
monstrous. Yeah, dude. It would be really interesting.
10
Advanced
ounces
power
of copper or
drive.
something. Oh, speaking.
Should,
Let's
should we
quit
do
all
that?
this hubbub. Like, man, people have been waiting.
Dude,
We went from 18 to
We
14.
wanna know
now
what's in the bag?
13.
we're losing people. So I know somebody was asking me about the package earlier. So I was
What's in the bag?
So I was super blessed, guys. I was given the opportunity. I've had a relationship with APD, and unfortunately, I wasn't flying any of their ESCs, and I just hadn't built an airframe that I felt really warranted it. But I have this box racer that I picked up that came with ESCs on it, and unfortunately, I don't want to use these ESCs. This box racer, I'm gonna move my head. I gotta go the other way. I'm gonna move my head. This fucking box racer is 750 grams, and it's built for 8S, and it's got a PDB, an 8S PDB, and 8S ESCs on it, but it's not something that I want to try to use. So throughout my conversations with the guys at APD, I was, talking to them and was saying I was getting ready to purchase some of the 80 amp ESCs in the PDB, and they were like, no, don't buy them. We're going to send you some. So I got this bag, and I couldn't fucking believe it. This bag here that I might have to drag bigger. I
don't know how you waited so long to be
Bro,
honest with
I know, dude. I was like pacing a hole in the fucking floor today, waiting for this fucking thing. So
Why is it that anything you want, like you really want, takes all fucking day to get there?
Yeah.
Like something I don't care about, it'll be there at 10 a.m. sitting on my porch. Anything else? Like my orcas, they didn't come to like 8 o'clock at night.
Just shipped.
What was that?
Oh shit.
What was that?
Ethics bag.
My ethics bag just shipped.
Oh.
My overpriced
Ooh.
ethics bag that I.
All right, so that means stock, guys. If y'all ordered
You
it.
can hate on me all you want, but
So
I'm super excited about my ethics bag.
I'm not hating. I
What's
love
in your
ethics.
bag?
APD was really amazing to fucking send me these for testing, and I don't even know what's in this fucking bag, quite honest. They said they were going to send me some 8S ESCs, and so I thought I'd open it up with y'all here tonight, and I just
608 wants to see your bags.
I gotta fucking, yeah, baby. I just gotta say thank you guys. Thank you, Tony and AJ and Yiming at APD. The macro and X Class guys wouldn't know what to do without you guys. And in APD's service and support and the stuff that they've been putting out. From my experience, I know Travis is running some APD, and a lot of my friends are, and it just looks quality. I've always been blown away by the quality I've seen in the product, and I'm now excited to open up my first bag from APD. So I'm going to do it. So we have big bag of stuff. So we're going to take a look at what these 8S ESCs look like, if I can get this open.
Quit stalling. You're making the.
Dude, I need a
exes
knife.
here.
Look, I got chroma knife. Chroma knife, chroma knife, chroma knife.
Can't see it.
Exactly. So it is chameleon. It's that New York State knife.
Yeah, it's illegal in New York City knife. Holy shit. I can't open it.
Now you're just messing with us.
I dropped some links in the chat. for people who are interested in the website for APD.
Yeah, it's in the
Which is also available on Pyrodrone.
it's in the description. And
Pyrodrone has good taste in ESCs.
Pyro started carrying APD, and I was so excited. And I was literally, I'm not lying, I was literally on Pyrodrone chatting with the APD guys, and I was literally putting these in my cart. And when they were like, "Yo, just hold up," and I was just like, "No, you got to be kidding me." And like again, I just have felt incredibly fucking blessed lately to have some of this energy coming my way. Holy
Stand
shit!
up, bro. Cut that shit. Do you need some help?
All right.
Advice: walk over that place.
So this is a
Dude, I'll take the subway, man. I'll be there.
This is a 380 amp, or sorry, 360 amp PDB. We're gonna open this up in a sec.
It looks bigger than your head.
And I have fucking sets of fucking 80 amp ESCs.
Dang.
So these are 8S.
Yeah, boy.
Fucking dude, I'm so excited. These are 8S. I don't know if you'll see it. These are F3 base. These are F3 base 8S 80 amp ESCs. Let's see if we can get a. Yeah, so I've been running on 6S. I've been running 60 amp, and it's been holding really, really well. But this
Now
build,
you're doing 8.
this box is gonna run. Yeah, it's gonna run. Let me move my fat head. This box weighs 750 grams as it's sitting right now. It should it will probably weigh a couple more grams because the APD PDB is going to be more heavy duty than what's currently in it, and they give you cap. They give you cap.
Is that
It looks
a
like
little small?
so. Now they don't run big cap because number one, you're running one on each ESC, so you don't
ESCs, yeah.
you don't need as much. And this is the
What size are the
1,000
caps?
each?
these are they're 50 volt
1,000.
50 volt 330 microfarad caps.
Wow, that's really
And this is
not the voltage though.
the ESC.
Woo-wee.
They can get it to fucking
Damn.
Those are some big solder pads.
It's
Yeah, they are.
yeah.
yeah. You ain't you don't need you need some fucking 400 degrees for those pads. Those are like fucking
Put your
power
thumb up
wire
there.
pads.
Boom.
Yeah.
That's a big fucking ESC.
Yeah.
Metal fence.
It does they're huge, bro. That's what she said. Look how big the fucking chips are on this thing.
You don't get to that's what she said yourself.
I did. Totally
Oh,
did.
he does it all the time.
So I'm super fucking excited about these guys. This is my foray into the higher voltage macro quads. So this is going to be an like I said, it's going to come in. My plan is currently to run 2x 4S 2200s on it. I'm going to set this over here on the package. I want to show you guys this PDB though. These things are fucking stellar. So
It looks like the size of your head.
so yeah,
It's
we'll put it in
huge.
scale of the with the rest of the quad. You can see it in front of the run cam and shit. So
Jesus.
let's look at this.
Wider than one.
Jeez.
I'm super excited about these.
Pull out your bags.
Pulling out the bags. I waited all day to open this, so I waited for you guys.
Aw.
Artie knows I've been fucking yapping about ADP for fucking ages.
Isn't that special?
You're gonna have to start welding those instead of soldering. them.
Bro, oh my god, I should grab my scale. I might have a scale handy. I wonder how much this weighs. Jesus Christ, look at this thing.
Good God.
Things. Does that fit in the 30 by 30
You know,
mount?
when
Yeah,
ESCs
that's a
display-
yeah, that's a 30 amp 30 millimeter pattern. So
Crazy.
and
Now hold up
I'm
the
over
wolf
here playing with
BB. You got that
micros.
close to you?
say what?
So you got that wolf PDB anywhere handy?
I put it in the other room. I'll have to,
Yeah, you did.
I fucking, hey, you know how much shit I have laying around here already?
That's why I figured it was in some pile right next to you.
Unfortunately, it's not. It's not actually. I need to, it's in my, I have a Tupperware full of fucking flight controllers and stuff that I keep things in so I don't lose them. I don't know how big it is compared to the thing. I can go try to find it, but you know, we'll show it later. So this is that, and it feels hefty.
Heavy as fuck.
Yeah, like you can kind of see the thickness.
It looks hefty.
Yeah, it does.
I'm gonna go full screen for a second.
It's like looking at those 8mm arms on the graffiti.
Right here, I'll go full screen to these guys really quick. So again, try to get it.
608 said you're going to be using that for dog Ubers, those 10-inch.
What is that? But you can see how thick this shit is. This shit is hefty. I almost want to put it on a scale, and I'm going to put the ESC up one more time. A little blurry. But some of these systems, they actually, some guys literally solder their rigs like together, and they just jump their signal wires and shit like right together, and it just solders like literally like maybe on top or just like bridge it. You know what I mean? They just don't even use wire. They just because the whole.
That's crazy.
So I've seen a lot of the X-Class guys just literally soldering the ESCs directly to the PDB.
Dude.
Jesus.
Yeah, I mean, who needs wire, right?
Mr.
So like,
FPV says
Does that matter?
he loves the ESC. You'll love the ESCs and board. If you have any questions about them, hit him up.
fuck yeah, bro. Fuck yeah, thank you.
Nice, good looking out.
Fuck yeah. Yeah, I'm
What up,
excited,
LJ?
man.
Also suggesting you wire it.
He is, yeah. I was playing. Well, I have to put them. So this is gonna, they're gonna be on the arms here. Let me move my fat head. See if I can get a better shot. Here, two-handed. So these will go.
That's what she said.
God, it's so. Oh, you have to put it on the side?
You wanted to say. I'm gonna probably do something like this. Yeah, I'm probably gonna put them. I'll put them on the back side, but I'll probably put them somewhere on the arms. So, because the idea with this frame, like I said, I'm gonna change the current weight a little bit. And my poor computer, something's gone. When we crashed earlier, something's going on. It's okay. We're getting close to the end. So again, this is 750 grams with two 4S 2200s. I'm coming in around 1400 and change. So it's gonna scream on fucking.
Yeah, it's gonna.
It's gonna fucking scream, dude. I mean, on ADAS, yeah. There's nothing. It's like motors and pack. You know what I mean? Like, well, shit.
Yeah, that's nuts.
So that is my fucking amazing news of the day.
I want to be there for it. Basically.
That's some great news.
Man, like I said, it's just I can't thank Advanced Power Drives enough for this
Yeah, it's
first
so awesome.
and for letting me try these out. And it just, like I said, it's just been one of those weeks, really, man. Community, the people I've been hanging out with, it's been positivity. And I know we're under a lot of negative shit with the FAA and all the other crap, and it's hard to keep your chin up at times. So, when you
Thanks, APP, for helping Chad keep his chin up.
yeah.
Well, that's awesome,
And
man.
actually,
That's
since we're
awesome.
talking about like getting together and all that, I just wanted to shout out Quad Chat. Today's Quad Chat was absolutely amazing. They had Legs and Captain Uno on. Just seeing those guys talk about what the hobby means to them. How it's just it makes me want to fight the FAA twice as hard. Like it just I don't know.
Well,
A
that's
little
what it's
off topic,
about.
But that podcast was really amazing.
Yes. And if you haven't seen them, I've checked out a couple of shows. They've been very, very cool. I hopped in for a little bit again tonight before we started pre-production for this and said hello and hung out in the chat. And there were some great people hanging out in their chat. And, they came through here before we even had gone live and wished us good show. So thank you. And I went over there and wished them a good show. So, That's what's up.
Right on. Yeah, good
Oh,
people.
since we're wishing people congratulations, I wanted to congratulate E-Radio on 700 subs as well.
700
700
subs.
Killer
subs.
pilot,
It's a lot better than me.
fucking just a killer pilot. Yeah.
Speaking of congratulating some, I don't know if
too.
y'all saw the Vic FPV's video of the best day of his life. His woman let him know that she's pregnant.
Smiling.
Wow, congratulations.
Yeah, he's gonna be a dad. I thought that was pretty incredible. A great way for somebody to do
That's
that.
what it's all about, man. FPV friendship. Like he's comfortable sharing that with all of us. Like everybody's like super happy. Like it's like I don't for a second feel like anybody's being fake. Like why wouldn't we be happy? Like he's a great pilot. He's a positive influence on, he's always showing tricks in his videos. Like it's fucking awesome.
Yeah, and he's a technician too.
Yeah, he's a beast.
But yeah,
that guy's
FPV is community.
Like,
Yes.
that guy's got some cheats on his quad though.
And
that guy stays inverted and yaw spin.
No, there's one thing that he
know how he
does that just I love it. He does that yaw spin, inverted yaw spin to Rubik's out. Shit, it's just
Oh my God.
fire.
Stop.
So good. So good.
I hope
That's when you think.
Anyway,
you're like, "Oh, man, I'm getting
congratulations to
real
Vic
good."
FPV and his family. and,
yeah.
Congratulations.
like there's
Yeah.
nothing better than being a dad.
Indeed.
I got 3 myself, so
Just wait till your
Congrats on
grandpa.
that.
Just wait till your grandpa.
yeah, that mad chiller, don't let him fool you. He's a grandpa.
I'm a grandpa. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
My grandson is fucking
And
amazing
if,
though,
you
dude.
don't know yet, Grandpa was on World's Greatest Drone Pilots.
Oh
podcast,
yeah, Friday at
which will
7
be airing
p.m.
Friday.
Check it out. Check it out.
Link-
Well,
Oh,
hey,
so it was
Link-
pre-recorded.
Yeah, we pre-recorded. Yeah, yeah. It was cool, because I talked to Doug pretty regularly, and he just hit me up. He's like, "Hey man, we were just bullshitting," and he's like, "Yo, you want to come on the podcast?" I'm like, "Fuck yeah, let's go." And like I said, it was just awesome. It was just fucking awesome. Like, hanging out with him and Wombat before, and then just hanging out after, and then the actual flow of the show is so quick that it's just like boom, it's over. You're like, holy shit, it was just fucking like it was like a fun little roller.
awesome.
It's like a roller coaster ride. It's not tons of time, but it's really fun and it keeps going really quickly, and then boom, it's over. And it's like,
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, guys, go check that show out. When's it coming out again?
Friday 7 p.m.
Dropping on Friday. Go check that out. I think
It's gonna be
Vice
the
dropped
first
a link in the chat.
WGDP back of the new year.
So I
Might be
Nice.
the first one. I'm not sure.
I think with I wanted to play some videos and run a little late tonight, but I think that since we're having technical problems, we're gonna cut it early.
Yeah, let's do that, man.
Last week we went on way long, and I think since we're a little glitchy,
Yeah, we went crazy.
I think
We're still at 2 hours. We're good.
so I think I want to talk more. I'm trying to get Travis to come back on and talk like pretty extensive macro quad. I'd like to get a couple of the other community guys to come in as well.
Yeah, and hey guys, if there's stuff that you guys want to see us talk about or do or cover, throw it down in the comments below. Let us know what what you guys want to see, what you guys want to hear.
Mr. Attic FPV should maybe come on and talk since he's here and knows about.
Proficient in APD.
Yeah, dude, you want to come on? I'll bring you on if you got time for it.
It's anywhere from 1 hour to 4 hours.
We're somewhere between 1 and 3 on it, but I would say 2 hours is our average.
Loosely.
Loose average.
Feel
Cool.
free to join the Goon Squad Discord. We are pretty active there. You can ask any questions there. There's pretty much always going to be somebody to help you out. And if not, yeah, maybe a day or two to help you out. But it's definitely very active. so-
Please join the Goon Squad Discord and the Emuflight Discord if you're interested in Emuflight. There are two very amazing communities, and one thing I'd love to say about the Emuflight community is it's very low key and very low drama. Goon Squad as well, an extremely helpful, amazing, supportive, mutually supportive community, and there's a bunch of emu junkies and Vice's over there supporting Betaflight, but
I mean,
But,
I'm supporting beta flights because it's currently what I fly.
you.
But
That's what you fly.
we're
got
I'm
that
just
11 calling
Keeps you
for
in the air.
Emuflight. Oh, I know.
fucking gotta put my emu. I gotta put our emus up.
Watch it.
Artie's gonna
In like
kiss.
a week, I'm gonna be like, dude, Emuflight's so good. How can you even fly beta flight? It's gonna. I'm gonna be
Beta
like the biggest
what?
hypocrite. Like fucking beta flight. Ugh.
LJFPV.
12.
LJFPV wants to know how he can become a goon. Well, first of all, join the community.
Discord, homie.
There's also a Facebook page.
That's the best start.
But there's a Facebook page, and I think many of us are pretty active on both. But I mean, I like to.
Yeah, there's definitely two communities, but
It's not
everybody's
two.
together.
It's not two communities. There's two places where the community congregates.
There's people who prefer Facebook, and there's people who prefer Discord.
Yeah.
but we can all communicate together. So it's never.
We're active on all of them, so
You
just
can
come
pretty
check
much
us
pick,
out.
the
Come join. Hopefully, maybe we can get another contest going here soon.
So
I would love to do another one of those.
Fuck yeah, man.
So yeah, to
If you
answer.
don't know about a previous contest, it was so fun.
So to
It
answer.
really pushes you, making a ton of videos. Go for it.
Well, that was one thing we did as far as recruitment into the official team roster. Is we did a competition, and we were able to, we asked everybody to put a submission video in, and we were able to effectively, not so much judge, but it helped us to bracket everybody in a pro or like an intermediate or beginner type group. We effectively had an intermediate beginner bracket, and I think everybody was pretty levelly. It was pretty even there. And then the guys that we were just like, these guys are like fucking ripping hard, been flying for years, like the pro guys. So that way it was very
100% pros.
It was very fair. So we basically took all the pro guys and put them in brackets, and then we took all the intermediate and beginning guys and we put them in randomly generated brackets, and we had a contest every week or two. They would submit videos, and the community, not the goons, the community would actually vote for each bracket each week, and at the end we had winners, and it was like almost a 6-week process. It was a lot of work.
It was a fun way to recruit people onto the team, and but just come and join the Discord. That's how you become a goonie and get in, be active. That's all you need, man.
I mean, that's really what it is. If you come in and get active, you come in
all over America too.
Make friends, come and get active, meet people,
Canada.
Find people to rip with, get help if you need it at 3 a.m. There's usually somebody up. And
Kevin's there for you.
Fucking yeah, Kaio Pride will be there at 3 in the morning. Yeah. And Kaio used to fly helicopters and stuff. He will definitely help.
Yeah, that guy's crazy.
And of course, during the day, myself, Vice, and a lot of the other guys are always there. And Artie and myself and Vice are both on the Facebook and the Discord all regularly throughout the day. So we definitely can be reached.
I work from home a lot, so I'm just right there.
Yeah. And then as well, like we have in that Discord, we have links to the Emu Discord and da. We have an Emuflight chat in the Goon Squad Discord. We have a KISS chat. We have a Betaflight chat. It's whatever you need, there's a place for it there.
Regional chats, all the kinds of chats.
Our meme
just
chat
come
is
over and check
pretty
us out,
fucking
man.
good, too.
Yo, what's up, Redbeard?
Pretty good meme chat.
I didn't see Redbeard was in the chat. What up? And we do have a good fucking
Shout out to Redbeard.
shenanigans chat. Yeah. It's pretty good. So yeah, guys, I think that's.
We even have actual pilots too. Real pilots.
Actual pilot.
Yeah, B-Rad.
Actual pilots. in our crew.
B-Rad is an actual pilot
Shout out to B-Rad.
for a fucking commercial airplane.
Not only is he a pilot,
That's what you
Airline.
mean by
he's a
actual
ripper,
pilots.
man.
Yeah, he's
He's a
Airline.
Yeah, he's a
Pilot.
ripper too, man.
dude kills it,
He's
man.
a fucking ripper though. Like I want to see how he.
Yeah,
flies
he
his fucking
certainly
plane.
surprised
He
me, man.
flies
I
quads like that.
actually met Hebe. He came up to Atlanta one time, and I met him at
yeah.
one of the prominent office parks up there. And here comes this 40-year-old guy, 50-year-old guy maybe, and just tears it up.
Fucking
Just
ripper.
puts literally, we got
Ripper.
together. He said hello. I said hello. We saw who could get the quad up the fastest. He won, and just murdered the spot. Really good dude, though. Really great people.
I just love it when somebody you don't realize just comes and just destroys a spot, and you're like, who the fuck is this guy? Like just out of nowhere.
Yeah,
Just
that's
so
Brad for you.
fucking
Yeah,
cool.
B-Rad is
He's-
awesome. B-Rad is
One of
definitely
the best
awesome.
guys. got a great family over at
Yeah,
Goon
check out his
Squad,
most
so come
recent
check
video.
us out for sure. But other than that, let's wrap this.
in the
Let's
Be
wrap
Bad
this piece
Yeah,
up.
video.
sorry,
Yeah,
Redbeard. You're gonna have to watch the replay, brother, because I'm having some technical problems tonight. I'm actually
we are out of here.
I'm actually watching my CPU peg, and that's why I'm like, yeah, something.
CPU's done
Not the
for.
good kind of pay.
My CPU. Well, I had a crash, Kev. Like,
Yeah, I saw. I was.
yeah, you were
Yeah,
you were
he was
here. I was like,
And your
It's right after he
USB
popped on.
freaked out.
everything flipped out. But all right. Well, we love you guys, and thank you again for joining us this week. And of course,
Yeah, thanks for coming out, guys.
we are going to have some. I just want to put a couple things out before I go. We are going to have some giveaways coming up. I need to put somebody on the spot actually about that, but I'm not going to do it now. But we are having some giveaways coming up.
Well, I plan on building and giving away a Corona.
Oh, there
Oh,
you go. BQE.
Can I get in on this?
Yo, you guys know about BQE.io?
A Corona.
Now I do.
BQE.io. Best frames. You can.
Wait, I think I've been here before actually.
Yeah, BQE.io. Great frames, great
Check it
company, amazing, another amazing community. If you're on Facebook, jump in the BQE Massive. A wonderful community, amazing people. Bot Grinder is a team pilot. Wombat's a team pilot. You got Old Gravy Leg. You got fucking Chris Teal. West Side. You got fucking BU. Valentine Schmerda.
Professor Pids himself.
Yeah, bro. There's mad fucking
We need to do. You know what?
BQE. Yo.
I think we need to do a Mad Chiller Professor Pids kind of duo.
Ah, dude.
Pid
We could have a.
That'd be sick.
Yeah, that'd be fun. Yeah, I like BU. I was on a UFDA stream with him a while back. He's awesome.
Fuck yeah.
But with that,
Professor Pids and the Mad Piddler.
I just want to thank again. I just want to thank APD once again. I want to thank Emuflight once again. I want to thank Bill at BQE for all your support and love over the years, man. And all of our friends, Westside, the UFDA crew, Gravy, all you guys, Bot Grinder, we love you and thank you. And with that, we're going to get the fuck out of here. You guys have a good night.